Hello, ladies and gents. My name is Chris, and I want to welcome you to our beloved podcast, Growing Ecommerce. It's the last episode of this year. I can't believe it. And I have to start with one thing, man. Your outfit is just fucking awesome.
Well, I like your outfit. So
You like it?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
It feels, man, I think it's the first episode. I'm not overdressed.
It could be underdressed. So for our listeners who might be wondering, maybe I think did we tease this on last episode?
We teased it. Yeah, we wanted to stand out today.
Yeah. So we are wearing matching Christmas pajamas.
Okay, because there are people just listening. Yeah, of course, matching pajamas.
Sure.
And mine is too small, honestly speaking. I went for an S to, be like, to show my biceps because I'm hitting the gym again. But I think it's a little bit too small.
Should have gone for the XS.
For the double down.
And then you could give it to your wife afterwards or something.
I will probably do. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
But man, really, it's you too.
No, thanks. This one fits nicely. Unfortunately I'm missing a cocoa or something like that.
Yeah, that would be.
And I should mention, because I don't know if this is visible on camera, but Chris also has these ugly Christmas socks on as well.
Ugly is a strong word, I would say.
Tasteful Christmas socks. And his PJs are tucked into his Christmas socks.
By the way, I just want to highlight that I did the intro today.
Yes.
How did I do?
Good. I'm teasing you.
It's getting better.
I'm proud of you. I'm teasing you.
Thanks, man.
I just wanted to bust you with that.
So, ladies and gents, last episode of the year, we talked so much about, I would call it technical stuff and very, very much, industry and business related stuff. Today, we maybe talk about business related stuff as well, but somehow we want to make it a bit more, I don't know, ad hoc.
Yeah, a little more personal.
More personal. So actually, man, I would start with the first question. Mate, last episode of the year. The year comes to an end. Let's start with a very classic, but probably a very powerful low and highlight review. What were your highlights? What were your lowlights? It was a long year. I don't know for a fact you had a lot of highlights.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about lowlights. Does Mike Ryan have lowlights?
Yeah, sure. Good question to start off with. And I think it's also like you don't want to be too recency biased. And it's weird because it's crazy that we're recording this now, because I feel like January 2025 just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, it's maybe even a low light in a way. This year was so insanely fast. The pace of change was so fast. The volume of information was so fast.
AI just came to reality, more or less.
Yeah. And we all are in this environment. We all have to keep up with this stuff. I think for me personally, it's in particular an occupational hazard. I'm really tasked with keeping up to date on a lot of stuff. Part of my role is to help the company stay up to date on things. And so the signal to noise ratio feels off sometimes, particularly with AI. What is hype? What is not? So that to me, on the one hand, it's exhilarating too. It's like you just feel different ways about it on different days. You can't always feel on and 100%. Sometimes I feel like when I'm dating myself here, when Neo is plugged into the Matrix and they unplug me, I might have even said this on the podcast before. I think about
you love Matrix.
Well, I think about this story a lot in relation to my work too. But it's he unplugs and he's like, "Whoa, I just learned kung fu," and but he just had this deluge of information plugged straight to his brainstem, and that's what it feels like.
Yeah. And by the way, I think this is a low end and highlight in itself, because sometimes, man, I really feel, sorry to swear again, but fucking overwhelmed with. I mean, in my position as chief client officer, I'm forced to zoom out all the time, and I love to do it. But you know me, I love to always, be grounded in, okay, what's really going on in our industry, man. And 5 years, it was just way easier to keep up. So I think it's a super interesting time. I think it's the most interesting time for mankind. I really believe that, the things which are about to happen. But at the same time, man, the train is just, it's, you can't stop it, and it feels super fast. It's super fast. And yeah, so a high and low light in itself. By the way, I want to say thank you, honestly speaking. And I don't know if we talked about that. Since we doing the podcast here, and we have been working more closely on our presentation on conventions and so forth, man, it helped me so much to get track again, to get on track again, what's going on there, because you just curate it for me on the right level so that I can understand it. So a big shout out to you. It really helped me a lot. So that's one highlight I really want to put on Front Street.
Yeah.
Working together with you, because I enjoy it, and at the same time it really helped me to dig into more tactical stuff again. So thanks a lot, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and I fully assume that working with me is a highlight for you as well.
The feeling is mutual, Chris. No, and I want to. No, I mean, I want to say a little behind the scenes, like when we were preparing for one of these conference talks or stuff like that. Like, what was that? We did a few 2-hour sessions.
Yes.
And like we did I think we did like 4 of them in 2 days or something like that.
Yeah.
We were really getting, and there is very intense. But I really appreciate working with you. I love the conversations that we have in those settings, and I think it's very impressive how fast you can mind things. Also,
thanks, man. And
because then you get up on it, it's amazing. Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, and another, because we're talking about highlights, and this is very much personal, and I hope I don't bore the listeners. But for me, a highlight this year was certainly that I'm back on stage again, because. For the people who don't know Smack that well, and how we roll as a company, I have been the poor version of Mike, the Mike Ryan version for the poor guys, right? Before Mike Ryan became Mike Ryan. So I was trying to represent our company on stage, and representing ourselves in podcasts and so forth. And you took over and never looked back, and you do a great job here. Now, going back on stage together with you, this is really a big joy, because, man, I just don't feel any pressure. I mean, I have the pressure standing next to you, and I know there's one person who just knows more than me. It's so good to have a sidekick who, whatever question there might be from the audience, I just can relate back to you. This is a highlight. This is certainly a highlight. Being back on stage and just don't have the pressure to give the answers to potentially critical questions.
Oh, it's been great teamwork, Chris, and great collaboration. Yeah. So, but I don't want to bore people with us just complimenting each other.
Yeah. You had some bad fuck ups, by the way, man. Yeah. There were some. No. Same here. Same here. But like, talking about lowlights, I'm not kidding. I think I tried to reflect on this a bit before the podcast. Yeah. Because I assumed we somehow review the year. Man, there were many lowlights. Yeah. Because it was, let's face it, I don't know, to listeners out there, how your year played out. I think everything played out somehow well. But it was a tough year, man. It was a tough year. One lowlight I really want to put on Front Street is seeing our clients facing just so much pressure from the market, within the Google ecosystem. It's really it's tough, man, because sometimes you just can't help. That's certainly a lowlight. I really feel that way. It hasn't been that way, I think, the years before.
No, I get you. I mean, because there's I'm proud of the ways that we do help our clients, and there's different kind of scopes or areas of activity where we help different ones. Some of them quite comprehensively, and some of them were really just focused on narrow things right in the channel or stuff like that in the channels. But some of them really broadly, and I'm proud of that. But there are just market conditions, there are business models, and these are things where your hands are tied to a certain extent.
Yes, that's certainly certainly a lowlight. And I mean, talking about lowlights, and I think it's fair to talk about lowlights because I mean, the reality check is, and that itself might be a lowlight. The reality check is that I talked to a lot of C-suite guys from our biggest clients, and I just don't see a lot of confidence that 2026 will be substantially different.
Yeah.
A lot of like I said, CROs, CEOs, CCOs, doesn't matter, expect especially the first 6 months in 2026 to be quite tight again.
Yeah.
This something of course, is not good. And because I really hope that there's some turnaround happening in 2026.
Me too.
Broadly speaking, in terms of macroeconomics.
Yeah.
But the confidence level is not that high.
No, I think that was something that we felt coming into the year and through the year, that just confidence hasn't been given. And I agree with you. There's no reason to see, like, I don't see the fundamentals changing that much in the near term.
Yeah, we would need some singular event, right, to which ignites some confidence again.
Artificial general intelligence.
Man, yes.
Oh, this could also be quite bad.
Okay, exactly. I think there's another option that it goes south from there. But yeah, I think that there were certainly some lowlights. I mean, one personal lowlight for me was for sure that I had one talk where I just didn't perform the way I wanted to.
Okay.
Where I got some very or very tasty feedback, and I think you know what I'm talking about, right? So yeah, but part of the game. But in general, it's really when I thought about it, it's not that one single lowlight. I think it was just a tough year. Personally, a lot of challenges and some macroeconomic developments you just can't control.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, how a lot of retailers feel that year.
I think so, for sure. I mean, on a highlight, that's, I mean, it really has its roots even in 2024, but maybe I should put it on the nice list. Like, Google is kind of on my nice list this year.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Right. Meanwhile, like, I can imagine our poor Google partners listening to like, they're surprised that we're on the nice list.
we love Google, and sometimes we don't love them, but it's fair.
Well, I like every Googler on a personal and professional level.
Shout out to the Google people. Yeah, really, they are.
You hear I don't know, you hear nightmare stories and stuff like that, but I always have a great time with every Googler that I've ever worked with.
Yes. And more than ever, I feel like they're generally interested in supporting. So shout out to Carla, my favorite Google rep. I hope you're listening. No, but yes, Google has done good things this year.
Yeah.
You want to drop?
Yeah. So not just like on the people side, I think that's given, but then also on the product strategy side, where there's usually the most friction. I mean, I never had a problem with the people at Google, but their product strategy has been frustrating. And that's, when we just think about the stuff that we have this year, like in terms of transparency into campaign types like demand gen and PMax, that transparency was not given 1 year ago. Also, the new technology that they're rolling out, like AI Max, it's built with transparency and controls from day one.
Yes.
So
they're
they're just not making this mistake again.
Yes.
And so these are things that I'm genuinely grateful for. Yes. I think people say, like, the cynics say that Google's gaslighting us here. They're making us thankful for things we always should have had. That's so negative. Come on, that's water under the bridge.
Exactly.
The reality was that things were at a low point for sure, and they're not anymore.
Yep.
And I don't care if it should have been that way from day one. Things are better now, and I'm grateful for that.
That's it. And you have to benchmark it with other platforms, right?
Yeah. Look at the direction that Mark
Zuckerberg is going, or TikTok is going, and so Google is on the nice list for sure.
Absolutely.
Who's on the naughty list?
We didn't think of a naughty list, nice list.
Let's think about it.
Well, Temu. Temu.
Man, yours, Mr. Temu. By the way, to the listeners out there and who is watching this, of course, as well, you are or were called Mr. T for a reason, right? Because you were covering Temu like no one else. By the way, another highlight that, we are big in the field we're active in, but overall, we are a small company with roughly 100 people.
Yeah.
And that we get the attention from Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, you name it. This is so great.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. But talking about Temu was one of the reasons why we got this attention, because you were reporting on Temu like no one else.
Sure.
Temu wanted to meet you. Did this happen?
Did we never talked about?
I don't know, man. I can remember when I told the people listening to the podcast, I hope we see you again.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Wow, we never followed up.
Did you meet?
Because they sent the replacement mic back.
You're not real?
On the robot mic.
Oh my. Did you meet Temu?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
I can, because I have to, I didn't sign an NDA with them or anything like that, and it's also a while back now, but let me speak about it in the,
be careful, mate.
It was fascinating because, I couldn't quite understand why they wanted to speak with me. To be honest, like I was waiting for them to lead in with an agenda or with like questions or their expectations, but it kind of felt like they wanted to know what questions I have for them.
Okay.
And
wow.
And to be honest, I do have questions, but the questions that I really have for them, they're not going to answer. Seriously, well,
yeah, of course.
They're not going to give the kind of answer that I want.
Yeah. Did you ask about the gross margin, for instance?
I did. I said, what you know? But I mean, things that we talked about, so first off, I think that they made an effort culturally and I mean that not just in in terms of a business culture, because I could feel what the hierarchy is there. That was clear to me. And so I think the level of formality that it felt a bit fake, but they were trying to have this other communication style. But it didn't. I could really get a feeling for what the corporate culture might be like there.
But it was friendly.
Yeah, it was amicable.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine. And it was not hostile in any way, of course. And this was like a VP at Temu that was speaking with me. So I don't intend any disrespect, but they were talking about like their local seller initiatives and stuff like that. Okay. And I think they were interested what I think about this and what would our client base think about this. And to be frank, and I told this to them as well, I don't think that their local seller offering is that attractive. But God bless them. They send me, I still get there's a couple people from their PR team, and they once a month they'll send me some press releases and stuff like that. And I think they think maybe he's gonna promote this. And
of course, man, it's a smart thing on their side.
Yeah.
Because you probably have been on the naughty list. And they're like, let's bring them close. Bring all the naughty people close.
Yeah. In theory, like if this would be a really attractive channel to our clientele,
we will push it, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, and here again, I can't speak too much deeper into this, but we work primarily with multi-brand retailers, and I think they would be more interested in working with brands and manufacturers, and these retailers are competitors.
Yeah, of course.
And they take a dim view of their competition. So the feeling is mutual,
That's good. And it's good that you came back.
I'm here.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Talking about the naughty list, this is fun. So, you know who on the naughty list is? It's Mark Zuckerberg.
I agree.
You agree? Okay, I thought there's some pushback.
No, he's on my naughty list too. Yeah.
No, and I want to be specific here. Doesn't really matter on which quarter you look at, but roughly 95% plus of Meta's revenue is coming through ads.
Yeah.
And this guy continuously talked down to the idea of ads. Like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, he's disdainful of his own customers. He's disdainful of his own business model,
Yes,
to be
of
honest.
its own business model, and I just don't like it. It feels so. What is it? I mean, it's just wrong on all levels.
Yeah.
And by the way, this brings me back to our nice list, because Google is quite straightforward. Like they don't know what's down the line. Let's say 5 years from now, but for the next 5 years, they double down on the cooperation, on the idea of cooperating with the middleman. And the middleman is an agency, a software vendor, or the in-house teams of the clients.
Yeah, exactly.
And you see it in their actions. I don't want, look, this is really, and Mark Zuckerberg is here on another list.
Yes.
You think we hurt his feelings now?
I don't think Mark Zuckerberg has. Can you picture Mark Zuckerberg like crying?
No.
But
And man, I don't, honestly, I don't want to rub him the wrong way, because he became a beast. He's training MMA like crazy.
yeah. No, it's the CEO.
He transformed himself into a fighting man.
It's the CEO human growth hormone kind of
thing.
Yeah.
That's going on in the US.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about testosterone cycles, or is this somehow off topic?
Hold on. Chris, since you brought it up, I've been getting a bit more.
It's the last episode. I don't give a fuck. Let's go for it.
I've been getting a bit more sleep lately, Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
This is good for your testosterone.
Yeah, but that's the only thing. Because I have very mixed feelings about getting more sleep.
Man, I'm worried about my testosterone levels because of the lack of sleep.
Yeah. Well, that's
a low light, probably.
That's a low. Yeah. Well, what I found out some years ago is that, because I was like, I need to sleep more. I need to get more rest. I feel so tired all the time. But I discovered that, I don't know, it doesn't really matter how much I sleep. I don't feel actually like I have more energy during the day. And so I found out that I can just make my days longer and push through. But the only thing is that, as a man of a certain age, sleep is very important for revitalizing your tea.
Yes, the tea. Talking about tea,
the big tea,
the Temu talk. Man, the fact that it doesn't matter how many hours you sleep and you have your same energy levels would be a strong argument that Temu sent back a robot mic. Right? You just don't need any sleep anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, lack of sleep is a low light, and I felt it throughout the year. But the reason for lack of sleep is one of the major highlights for me this year, personally. My two boys, they're everything for me. I'm getting emotional now, really. And my newborn son now is turned 1 year, and he doesn't care at all about my sleeping habits and about my testosterone level. But yeah, this is on a very personal note. I'm an absolute highlight, and I'm looking so much forward to the holidays with these two boys next to me.
Yeah, likewise. It definitely brings a new meaning to the holidays again.
Absolutely.
That was something, I was a little burnt out on the holidays, and then two things happened. I moved to Austria first, and holidays are just different here, and done very well, I have to say. And so that kind of reinvigorated a bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, having kids.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, of course. So, Mike, I'm now, I'm Mr. Christmas nowadays.
Man, look at you.
You can't argue with that statement. The only reason I'm not wearing my Christmas socks right now, like you, is because I was already wearing them the other day. So,
by the way, my socks, I should have shown my socks now, man. They're not that bad. It's just the rule of the red-nosed reindeer.
I think we need to put a black bar over that sensor. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, he just lifted his foot up on the table in front of the main cam. So
with my S-sized pajama.
Yeah, now we just got a content rating.
for sure. But we already got it with my F words.
Oh, did you drop an F-bomb?
Yeah, okay. 2 times I think. But I don't.
But who's keeping count?
Mike, going back to some business context. Again, it's the last episode. By the way, I find it so funny. Growing e-commerce. Today we talked about ways to grow your testosterone levels. I think I love it. Mike, going back to some business topic. What to expect 2026?
Well, we kicked off with that a little bit earlier. We were saying, unfortunately, I think there's no clear reason to think that the macro is going to change that much right now. if anything, I think you're the optimist, I'm the pessimist. But
I'm rather optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right.
Yes. That was quoted recently.
It's a hell of a quote.
Yeah. But
you're the pessimist now, and I'm an optimist. Or
well,
okay.
we don't have to take those lines.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the optimistic side, I think that some of the things that were causing a lot of uncertainty early 2025 with tariffs and stuff like that. For better or worse, this stuff is settled.
Yes,
it's
settled, yeah.
normal, and so businesses will adapt. Things evolve. So I think we're like, that's a positive, I would say. And I just I don't know exactly what's going to happen with consumers. And then when it comes to the technology, I also think that this AI stuff, we'll see a lot of noise with agentic commerce. I can't talk about this in any level of detail on this podcast, but I've seen let's say a shopping list of the features that Google is planning for their agentic commerce, and because they're polling this with businesses, with retailers, brands to see what they would like to see with different stakeholders. So I've seen the shopping list, and time of recording, the only feature that's live is agentic price monitoring and checkout. I personally think that agentic is overrated, but it's the direction, as I've said multiple times, but it's the direction that they're going. I think there's different and better ways of doing this, but still, the features that they're working on are really interesting, and we're going to have a lot to talk about next year as these features roll out. I think by this time next year, there will be a robust but early agentic commerce offering from Google. I'm sure Amazon will be there as well, and we'll see what's going on with if OpenAI still exists or not.
Yeah,
with or without a bailout.
There will be maybe a bailout, but doesn't matter. They will exist.
Yeah, but I mean, that's something that I don't want to overhype it, because I think it will be early. I think it will be primitive, but it's going to be a big step from where we are right now.
Yes, true that. And for me, this is, again, I always circle back to the conversations with decision makers I have, because that's the opinion I refer to the most. There are a lot of this is where very funny. This is where a lot of people are optimistic and see chances, because the new environment we will be operating in, right, more agentic based, agentic driven. I think this will provide a lot of opportunities, because wherever disruption happens, you know that, Mike, there will be opportunities for online retailers who are smart about it, adopting, who have the right partners at their hands. So I think that's what I love about Google now. They're doing the right things. Some of them are really disruptive, but disruption is a good thing, because you can stand out again, not just with the biggest war chest, but by being smart, right? This is really something, man. 2 years ago, you just couldn't do it, right? The days were gone where you could really stand out as a mid-sized retailer by just being smarter in your PMax tactics. Now you can really do shit again. So that's why I'm optimistic. And another thing, what I certainly expect is, man, maybe you kill me for that now, but I really think that there will be a slowdown in the CPC development. By the way, this is just a gut feeling. This is based on the conversations I had with some Google reps. I think there will be a slowdown compared to this year, and this is good, right? Everything close to the slowdown is good for every online retailer in the world. I think this is what's going to happen.
I have no basis. I can't comment because I don't really understand why it occurred.
The dynamics behind
I don't truly understand why it occurred and the extent that it occurred with the timing that it did and stuff like that. And it's hard for me to say, but I feel like it must cool down.
It must cool down.
These things just don't go on forever. And if they do go on forever, then Google needs to intervene somehow. Yeah.
No, fair point. But then I think we have something to look to, honestly, to be looking forward to. I think we are living in exciting times.
Yeah.
Also in terms of the online retail space, or
Yeah.
let's say e-commerce space.
This is always these new channels.
Yeah.
They emerge. Like you can think of the emergence of email marketing. You can think of the emergence of mobile commerce.
Yes.
The emergence of search. This stuff goes on. And
when online retailers look back here, I think every single channel, if adopted the right way, it brought something to the table.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this is, if you zoom out and let's be a bit cheesy, I think there will be chances next year.
Sure. The new channels usually, like, if they achieve scale, they usually work better than those channels, than whatever they're replacing. So there's a reason to be optimistic.
Good, man. What a way. I mean, let's stay optimistic.
All right.
What's your New Year resolution?
Be more optimistic.
Should I be more pessimistic then, or? Yes, right? Would make sense, Chris.
We prefer the term realistic.
Realistic. No, jokes aside, do you have some, let's say, a professional New Year resolution and a private one on personal level?
Sure. Well, so professionally, well, you mentioned a highlight of the past year was that we, I think we got a lot of press coverage at different times. I spoke with a lot of journalists over the year, which I really enjoyed doing. But there were a few standout occasions, and they were involved with these, like Temu turned off their ads and turned them back on.
Amazon
turned, and so. But I mean, that was it was really exciting to be at the front of that. And so my resolution is to stay at the front.
Stay at the front. That's a great.
You have to make that decision
professionally.
Yeah, every day. Also, another highlight of the year was the State of PMax report, and I've teased this in the past a bit on this podcast, but I really want to do more of this in-depth writing and reporting, and I want to do some more of these state of reports. So those are two.
Wow, yeah, that's good.
Two kind of commitments or resolutions of mine professionally.
You're on the record now, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and the new optimistic me says we're going to do it.
You're not directly reporting to me anymore, but I took a note now, Mike. On personal level? And
on a personal level, yeah, this is really kind of personal, but it deals with this topic of the overload, the information overload, the communication overload. And at times I just closed off to people. I ghosted people in some cases. That's just how it was. And something, that was a low point for me. And at a certain point, I think really in the summer of this year, that was where I was at.
Yep.
But I've been thawing out again, and I feel
you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I've really enjoyed. I've just been, even visiting the office more often and stuff like that. And it just feels good. And so, yeah, that's something I just want to,
You're on the record again, mate.
Yeah, I'm on the record.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I just want to be there for people and just, get over that. So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I bared my soul to Chris and whoever else is listening. Whoever had the patience to make it through this one.
Yes, man. Shout out to all all listeners who still stay with us. Mike, then anything you want to add?
No, it's your turn.
My turn.
Resolutions.
Okay, man. I thought I touched the bullet.
You're in the hot seat now. No, I'm done.
Professionally, I want to become a better listener. Professional context, meaning become a better leader by listening more actively. Certainly a weakness of mine. A second thing, I want to talk even more to our clients to understand their pains and challenges. It's so, man, it feels it's so good to have clients around and to talk to them very, very openly, because what you realize in the instant of an heartbeat, these are people. Doesn't matter how big the company are, these are people with challenges. You're worried about stuff. So this was certainly great thing for me this year, and I want to be even more involved in client meetings. It really helped me a lot this year. And man, personally, be a better dad. Honestly, I can I can be so much better at that. I know that for sure. And since I assume that my wife is listening,
You're on record.
on record, I want to become a better husband. But this is very hard because I'm already I'm close to a 10. No, I'm close to a 5. So my next step would be to be at the 6, and I have to figure out what that means. But this will be talked about behind the curtains. I'm on the record too, man.
There we have it. So
the big question now, since we have some time left in the office, do you change your clothes or
am I going to walk around like this?
Let's think about it.
Yeah,
we can talk about the next episode.
We'll let people know what we chose. So stay tuned next year to find out. Did Mike and Chris wear their matching PJs?
Yes,
all day long.
All day long. Were they brave enough? Mike, let's. I thought about doing the outro, but man, there's such a high risk that I fuck it up, and I think it's your show. The last outro of the year, it's yours. I did the intro. It cost everything I had. It cost everything I had. Outro is yours.
Well, we'll put that on your New Year's
resolutions.
Yes. So thank you for joining another episode of Growing E-Commerce. This podcast is brought to you by Smarter Ecommerce, also known as SMEC. You can learn more at smarter-ecommerce.com. And that's it. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. And we'll see you next year.
All the best.
Bye.
Mike, thanks a lot.
Happy New Year, Chris.
Happy New Year.